Hello, welcome back. This is Jacob, and today we are gonna finish off the narration and character voice acting for the Mansfield Break side story in Arknights. Yes, this will be a double whammy. This will be the story for stage MB-8 and the ST-2 stage all in one video. So, let's begin with the before operation story for MB-8, also called The Anointment. Let's begin. Mighty big ruckus you've caused, Mr. Anthony. Had I not known all about your plan in advance, I'm afraid not even I could have stopped you. You're Jesselton. That's right, I'm Jesselton. I'm sure you've noticed we've passed by each other in the prison a couple of times, but allow me to introduce myself again. My name is Jesselton Miller, the very last obstacle to your prison break charade. Where's Doma? Right here. Anthony, I'm sorry. I was waiting here for you. I didn't expect this guy to barge into the clinic with the prisoners. Doma! This is such a gloomy place. It would be unbecoming of me to let a beautiful lady wait here all by herself. That's why I figured I'd offer her my protection. Mr. Jesselton. Oh, Miss Robin. It looks like I was expecting a little too much from you. What a disappointment. Or perhaps you never tried to kill him in the first place. She failed, and your lackeys couldn't hurt me. Yet you spared her life. I must say you are a fine gentleman, Mr. Anthony. Save it. Very well. Let us get straight to the point. Mr. Anthony, if you don't want this young lady to die, please step over here. Miss Kafka, I would appreciate it if you would stay right there. I can tell you're the opportunistic kid. Please try not to do anything that would put Miss Doma in harm's way. Yes, just stand right there. All of you, surround him. Anthony, don't listen to him. It's okay, Doma. We are going to save you. I have no hand. I have to hand it to you, Mr. Anthony. It's admirable that you are able to stay calm even in such a precarious situation. I'm sure you know what it is that I want, and you also know that I won't spare you out of compassion. Here's my suggestion. Abandon the lady, abandon your affectations, and come fight me. You're wasting your breath. I wonder how long you can keep this up. And you, Miss Robin? I would like you to kill Mr. Anthony. After all, you still have a job to do. It doesn't matter what kind of agreement you've made with Mr. Anthony or if you've had a change of heart, for whatever reason. If you want the money, and if you want to save your father, then this is your last best hope. Why the hesitation? Did Anthony promise you a blank check? Or have you grown soft on him after all this? Last chance, Miss Robin. I... Think of your father. Think of how your life is in tatters. Think of your future, your wish. If I were you, I wouldn't hesitate. What are you trying to do? What am I trying to do? Isn't it obvious? If all I wanted was to kill you, I've had plenty of chances here. But that would be a little bit boring, wouldn't it? I've never found killing someone all that much fun, Mr. Anthony. But I really enjoy those moments when a person is faced with a choice but to abandon their past. That's why I lured Miss Robin here. I long to see her change. I crave for her fall. And I thirst for your change as well. I thirst for the moment you finally lose your cool and bare your fangs. All for the sake of your family, your goals. I mean it, Mr. Anthony. Take off your gauntlets. Take off your gentleman's facade. Think of your family. Think of all you've been through. The humiliations you faced. Think of the reason you're breaking out of this prison. Do you really want to die here? Do you really want to throw your life away for a woman you've only known for a few years? Stand up, Mr. Anthony. Push Miss Robin aside. Forget Miss Doma. Come at me and kill me. Not everyone out there is like you, Jesselton. You should know that you aren't all that special either, Mr. Anthony. I'll give you 5 seconds, Miss Robin. If you don't act, I'll do it myself, and you'll die here with him. 5. Miss Robin, you have yet to pay off your father's medical bills, and Mr. Anthony is penniless. Anthony, 4. Mr. Anthony, your parents are having a miserable time in prison. They're being orchestrized. Mother. 3. Anthony, don't worry about me. You can't die here. Guess what, bitch? You ain't killing yourself on my watch. Well, Miss Doma is quite a bit more fiery than expected. Admirable. Alas, it didn't go as she planned. Jesselton! Now that's the face I want to see, Mr. Anthony. Wonderful. I'm curious. What is it that fuels your conviction? Do you think your death can buy my sympathy for everyone else here? Are your principles worth that much to you? Perhaps you still have a card up your sleeve. I've done much to betray my principles in this prison. I sweet-talked the jailers, stuck up for Barton, fought those I didn't want to fight, and lived a life I didn't want to live. This has nothing to do with principles. This only has to do with me. I won't sacrifice Doma for my own ends. That's all there is to it. Even though your family is still waiting for you. You have no right to talk about my family. Even though you have revenge to take and questions you need answered. None of that is more important than the life of a friend. Even if it ends up killing you. Even if it ends up killing me. Anthony. You have to think everything through and make your own choices. Then you need to take responsibility for each of those choices. Otherwise, you'll never be able to take your fate into your own hands. You must scrutinize yourself and think about what it is that you want to do. Anthony. How regrettable. Well then, 2. Robin finally takes a step forward. She slowly walks towards Anthony. 1. Miss Robin, I understand your struggle, but you have a decision to make. Anthony. No matter what you end up doing, don't regret your decision, Robin. Right. She swings the knife in her hand, which then flies towards its target. But that target isn't Anthony. Anthony, Leave Doma to me. You prick. Hey, you two sure kept me waiting. When did you... Anthony. So this is the trick you had up your sleeve. You knew Miss Robin was on your side. Perhaps your offer wasn't enticing enough. Are you sure about this, Miss Robin? From where I'm standing, you have chosen a path that has no future. It's true that if it wasn't for the Simons, my father wouldn't have turned out like that. But it's his fault for not getting back up on his feet. I knew that, I just didn't want to accept it. And I really don't want to do that either. Anthony promised to come up with something to raise money for my father's medical bills. But that doesn't actually matter. I've decided I'm not going to kill Anthony, and even if he doesn't help me, I'll come up with something else myself. And if my father dies before I get the money, then I'll kill myself and apologize to him in hell. That's my decision. Beautiful, beautiful indeed. What a beautiful resolve, Miss Robin. I suppose you've made your decision. You want to turn your back on our agreement because of that resolve. Very well. Who am I to blame you for that? I should applaud you for making that decision even. That said, I still have to take out one thing. When I said this path had no future, I didn't mean you won't have much of a future after your little jailbreak. I mean it all ends here and now. There isn't a future where you make it out of this prison alive. I guess I'll have to see about that. No. I have to admit, you're very strong, Mr. Anthony. As for killing and violence, aren't exactly my thing. That's why Miss Doma was only the first step in my attempt to stop you from seeing about that. As for the second step... Anthony, Kafka, are you two okay? I'm fine. You haven't forgotten the shackles on you, have you? Damn it, this guy's thought everything through. I appreciate your compliment, Miss Kafka. You asshole, you've been lying to Robin from the start. No. I just like to have more than one option. Had Miss Robin gone through with the deal and succeeded, I would have saved me quite a bit of trouble. And if she failed, as you can see, I've prepared a fallback for her. I can't say I planned for all this without putting myself in her shoes. Easy for you to say, but you dragged her into this mess. I never denied I wanted to see her struggle, did I? However, Miss Kafka, you are very much in the know yourself. Think about it. Do you think she could have raised enough money for her father's surgery had I not dragged her into this mess? I think it's extraordinarily unlikely. See, you can't even argue with me on that. I have to admit, she has a lot more to gain by helping you out. But she didn't help you. And that's more than enough for me. Still trying to fight despite the circumstances? Very well, then allow me to personally tear apart that last illusion. Anthony, I'll back you up. I ain't quite as strong as Anthony, you know. Huh? You guys, watch out! His hand! His hand turned black! Ah, how heartwarming. To think I get to crush this emotional get-together. It just fills me with delight, Anthony. Alright, and now for the after mission scenes. Son of... It's no use, Anthony. Miss Robin, I'm afraid I've underestimated your fighting prowess. I must say, I'm taking a liking to you more and more by the minute. How about it? Help me now and I will forgive all that you've done. How about no? What's with this guy's hand? It got so hard after it turned black. Oh, let me introduce you to my Originium arts. I can control iron. And I've also received a few modifications to my body. When you attacked just now, it felt as though you hit an iron plate, didn't it? That isn't just my Originium arts at work. Beneath my skin, I have what I suppose you can aptly call the crystallization of technology, courtesy of Rhine Lab, a tiny metal plating. Well, I'm afraid I don't know what its proper name is, but it's strong enough to greatly reduce the impact of your attacks. Hold on, you're from Rhine Lab? Unfortunately, I'm not. In any case, I'm surprised you were able to put up such a fight despite those shackles. Looks like it's time to get serious. His hand turned into a blade. Did you know, Mr. Anthony? Ever since I arrived at this prison, ever since I first laid my eyes on you, I felt a sort of mismatch. You are doing your damnedest to control yourself, to make yourself seem harmless, and to make yourself look well-mannered. But you've strength incarnate. From that moment onward, I've been wanting for this to happen, so that I can tear off that well-mannered facade of yours and unleash the violence hidden underneath. I'm sure I didn't disappoint. Not at all. You've opened my eyes. You have no right to judge who I am. I'm not here to judge. What I'm trying to say is you're much less of an eyesore now. Using your teeth too, huh? I'm sorry to say your teeth won't be able to tear into me. Damn it! Damn it! Anthony, my friend, is there really all that much you can accomplish outside? Will you be able to save your parents, your family? Let me tell you, you'll have nothing once you step out there. You're living quite a life here in prison. Even the warden has to know to you. I may have said I could have killed you long ago, but it wouldn't have been a walk in the park if you didn't go on this little excursion. Why go through all that trouble? Isn't life in prison plenty comfortable? On July 24th, 6 years ago, I was heading to a dinner party when all of a sudden a bodyguard told me something had happened back home, and my father told me to run. I had no idea what had happened. I didn't have the chance to say goodbye to my parents before I went on the run. I was arrested, but I made it to Ironforge. I thought that was all there was to it, but it didn't take long after I was put in prison for me to find out that wasn't the case. The way I'm treated here is not how criminals are usually treated. I realized right away that my father probably arranged for my imprisonment. Well, what a coincidence. I think so too. But if that's what you think, wouldn't you say that's all the more reason not to betray your father's wishes? My father's wishes? Looks like you really enjoy looking down on people and trying to plot them out, Jesselyn. Has anyone ever told you how petty you are? I've been told that before, indeed. But I'm afraid how petty I am has nothing to do with your prison break. I could live a comfortable life here. I could even turn it into my own little kingdom. But what would that get me? It would only make me the prisoner with the most freedom. I've lived here for 6 years, and there was nearly a moment when I didn't want to step outside. I want to leave, not because I want to prove how amazing I am. I want to leave because I need to figure out just what had happened back home. I need to tell the ones responsible for my family's downfall that we are not done yet. To tell the truth, that impassioned speech is really rubbing me the wrong way. But no big deal. Whatever the case may be, you aren't getting out of this place alive. I may not be able to take you down, but I've stalled you long enough. The other guards should be here soon as the lockdown ends too. You did well. Your friends did too. This isn't your fault. It's just that most of life in this world ends up unsatisfactory. Unfortunately, this is as far as you go. Listen, here comes the Reaper. So this is it? What should we do? Sorry to disappoint, but the Reaper isn't coming just yet. On a different note, Anthony, you are way too loud. I could hear you on my way here. Who are you? You. I have to hand it to you, even I was a little surprised by your plan. It took me a good while to stop those other guards. Huh? Where have I seen you before? Hold on, you. Ryan Lab Defense Director, Saria. Right, I remember you, Jesselton. I'm honored to be remembered by someone as esteemed as you. Not a lot of resumes make it to my desk. I remember the moment you told me I didn't get the job too. But first, I'm curious. What is Her Highness the Defense Director doing here in a prison? You needn't worry about that. All you need to know is that this is where it all ends for you. Where it ends for me? No. It seems you're mistaken about something, Director Saria. Or should I say just Saria? I've heard your ability isn't all that dissimilar to mine, but before I even had the chance to find out, you'd already slammed the door in my face. For all these years, I've wondered whether you're actually stronger than me. Looks like we have the chance to find out now. Their hand changed color too. It's so white, beautiful. You're right, your arts are rather similar to mine. However, their clashes echo throughout the morgue. Saria's two knife hands may seem like no match for the black blades of Jesselton. But that couldn't be further from the truth. One step. Another step. And yet another step. And after each and every strike, Jesselton can't help but take a few steps back. There isn't a single scratch on Saria's knives. I've told you before, Jesselton. You're too fixated on the moment and your lack of perseverance. I don't need anyone like that working for me. You're too small-minded. With Saria's single swipe, a crack appears on Jesselton's blade. Once. Twice. And a third time. Jesselton has no room to attack, and all he can do is keep defending. Damn it. If this is how you are, there's no way I could accept your application. Out of the way. Saria! I told you to get out of the way. Saria lands a final strike, breaking Jesselton's blade in two. leaving a narrow, deep cut across his body. Sorry. So strong. I heard the defense director was pretty badass, but this is on another level. Thank God that I've never crossed her. Thank you very much, Miss Saria. It's okay. If you can still walk, now's the time to do it. Before that, I have a question I need to ask you, Anthony Simon. Please, go ahead. Have you heard the name Ferdinand before? Ferdinand. I heard that name from my father. So it was you, Ferdinand. Alright, and now for the interlude chapter, MB-ST-2, titled The Cost of Being Righteous. Ferdinand, Director of Energy. Yes. Well, that's kind of a surprise, but you know what really bothers me? Just what the hell was Saria doing there? I wanted to ask you about that myself. Why was Saria there, Director Mulesys? What do you mean by that? Saria was your right-hand man in this incident, wasn't she? More accurately, she was your former right-hand man. Oh, what makes you think that? Ever since we started our conversation, I've been wondering where you come in this string of events. You said you have nothing to do with Hydrobro and Energy, and I believe you, but since you went out of your way to find me, you're perhaps a little too passionate for someone who's supposedly just an observer who knows about this incident. So my preliminary judgment is that you are most likely my competitor as far as this incident goes. You want Anthony as well. And the thing that puzzles me the most is what Saria was doing there. She's completely cut ties with Rhine Lab. She's a Rhode Island operator now. The way I see it, she had no reason to get involved. Well, I could probably say she's your trump card too. I really didn't know she was there when it all happened. I still remember what you said in the beginning. The only parts I... Oh. Hold on, I made this mistake in the dry run as well. It's highlighting Mulesys, but Silence is talking. I still remember what you said in the beginning. The only parts I understand are the beginning. Hydrobro initiated this assassination plot they've been brewing forever against Anthony Simon, the last of the Simons, who was locked up in Mansfield State Prison. And then, the very end, where Anthony led a group that successfully escaped Mansfield, and then met up with you two and made it out of Columbia. As for everything in between, well, I had a chance to find out, but that slipped away by now. Very sad about that. As my competitor, you know more than just that. You likely had an accomplice who should have told you everything that happened here. But that's all you know, and from all indications, it seems you really didn't know that much about how everything unfolded here. And considering how Saria showed up out of nowhere, the only conclusion I can draw is... she was working with you, but she turned her back on your agreement. But if that was really the case, then your appearance would also be unexpected. So why would she hand over Anthony to you? It's true that all of you are working with Rhode Island, but if everything's exactly as you said, you two wouldn't exactly be on the same side, no? No, and I really don't understand why until just now either. Kafka certainly didn't stand a chance against her, So in theory, she should have been the true victor of this whole incident. And, well, we didn't really know each other either, so she really didn't have much of a reason to hand Anthony over to me. But I think I know the reason now. Aha! I get it. She was trying to trick me. Exactly. This is just my assumption. To her, having control over... Actually, no. I don't really want to call it that. Let's call it a rescue. By rescuing Anthony, she became the ultimate victor. She thinks the best place for Anthony to be isn't where you are. That would only help grow your influence, so she probably chose to take matters into her own hands. I don't know what it is that she's doing, and I don't want to know, but she definitely knows that Hydebro won't let this slide, nor will you, not that she has betrayed you. So that's why she didn't show up until the very end. She wanted to hide the fact she was ever involved in this whole incident. I don't really think she's scared of me or Hydebro, but okay, probably better to just let sleeping dogs lie. I would do that too if I were her. Besides, she probably still has something else to take care of here in Colombia. Oh, whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with this. Whatever. Anyway, the fact that we were there was probably just as much of a surprise to her. She probably got the gist of our situation from Kafka and arrived at that decision. Beautiful reasoning, Miss Silence. You're exactly right. I was the one who told Saria about this. And my guess is Jesselton was put in jail after that. They probably figured out right afterwards that he wasn't a real prison guard. That's why I didn't have much information about him. I really got thrown for a loop by Saria this time though. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to hand him over to me right from the start, but still. Then why did you ask for her to help? Well, obviously, I didn't have a choice. There wasn't anyone in the company trustworthy and capable enough. If there was anyone else I could have turned to, I wouldn't have bothered asking her. I may be Ecological's director, but I am not actually all that powerful. Look at how miserable I am. She stole my guy from me, and now I've got to rack my brains to see how I can get him back. You couldn't find a more miserable section director if you tried. So it's exactly as I thought. You brought me here because you want me to hand Anthony over to you. If I said yes, would you do it? Anthony has already left. He's on his way to Rhode Island. I could tell you yes, but that won't change anything. Relax. That was my plan in the beginning, but I've had a little change of heart. First of all, if my hunch is correct, Rhode Island has nothing to do with this whole affair. Your entourage is only here because they're your bodyguards on your trip here to procure equipment, right? That's right. I did that not as a member of Rhode Island, but as an individual. I lied to them. Well, you're not a good liar, Miss Silence. Anyway, I get the gist of it now. Your goal is probably to make Anthony a Rhode Island operator, or at the very least, put him under the company's protection. That's the best course of action, in your opinion. And, well, setting aside the question of whether Anthony would willingly subject himself to Saria's grumpiness, Saria probably wanted to keep Anthony on her leash. But even if Anthony's okay with it, Saria probably thinks he's nothing but trouble. That's why she chose to have him join you guys at Rhode Island. It's a pretty good choice. Actually, she probably thinks that it's all good enough for her as long as Anthony makes it out of the prison alive, and things don't go either my way or Ferdinand's. As for what Anthony wants to do, and what he can do once out of prison, that doesn't matter to her one bit. Is that so? That's right. It's hard for me to imagine Saria caring about others. Actually, it felt pretty strange to me when she agreed to help me out. But why is she okay with him joining Rhode Island? Things could get out of hand with him in Rhode Island too. Probably because it keeps this whole prison affair relatively low-key. If someone really looked into this mess, it would put Hydebro in the limelight, and those guys would do whatever it takes to cover all this up. And even though Rhode Island and Rhine Lab work together, as long as this is kept under wraps, there's going to be a lot of room to turn things around. In other words, if anyone becomes a Rhode Island operator, he'll actually be pretty safe for the time being. I don't really know much about Saria's work relationship with Rhode Island, but I know a thing or two about this company. I think if I were Rhode Island's leader, I wouldn't mind taking in Anthony at all. I'm so lost. Well, to put it simply, Saria snatched away something I was hoping she would give me. But she didn't keep it for herself. She pawned it to a pretty well-guarded shop. Oh, that's much easier to understand. But what about it? So you want me, an employee of the pawn shop, to talk the owner into selling the item in question to you? Bingo! If Saria decides to keep Anthony around, I guess there wasn't anything I could have done about it for the time being. But since she chose to turn him over to Rhode Island, there is still room for me to intervene. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to do this all by yourself. If Saria, the former defense director, was able to form a relationship with Rhode Island, then I'm sure they'll be willing to work with me, the ecological director, too. I'm hoping you'll act as an intermediary between me and Rhode Island. In return, I will give you an opportunity to come back to Rhinelab. It might even be the perfect opportunity for you to salvage the whole diabolical crisis situation. This is this all sounds like you guys are about to do something bad. Don't get the wrong idea, Miss Meyer. This is just business. Most things in the world aren't full of tender, loving care. Just like how Rhode Island only took in Saria because they saw value in her. And just like how Saria handed Anthony to you guys because she thought you two would be able to escort him back to Rhode Island safely. And for me, I believe that even if Rhode Island does end up taking Anthony in, they aren't going to offer him a helping hand just because he tells them about his past. We can slap a fancy label on everything to make them seem less ugly on the outside, but that doesn't actually make them any more beautiful. Let me give you an example. I could tell you I have very little power within the company, and then sing the praises of Control and tell you how amazing of a leader she is to make you think helping me is actually the right call. If I had done that, you definitely wouldn't have reacted the same way you did just now. And you know, I'm actually really good at that. But I didn't do that out of respect I have for Miss Silence after our conversation today. Out of respect, if you give me this lead, Anthony, I am willing to give you something that's worth just as much, if not more. What do you say, Miss Silence? Silence, what should we do? I refuse. Oh, how come? I think what I'm offering you is beyond attractive. Director Mulesys, from the beginning till the very end of our conversation, you haven't ever asked me what I wanted to do with Anthony. Did you subconsciously arrive at the conclusion that, just like you and Saria, I want Anthony, this lead, as well? Am I wrong? He'll be one of the ways via which I'll keep energy in check. As for Saria, I don't really know what's on her mind, but I'm sure she has her uses for him as well. As for you, you're a Rhinelab researcher who had to leave the place because of an experiment gone wrong. You want to use him to wrangle something from Rhinelab. Am I wrong? I don't plan on using your so-called lead, Director Mulesys. If Saria didn't show up, and Anthony was rescued some other way and then met up with Meyer and me, I would still have told him to join Rhode Island. I'm not doing this because I want to keep a leash on him, your lead, through Rhode Island. Throughout our entire conversation, you used the word lead to describe him over and over. I don't really like calling him that. Anthony isn't a lead to me. He's a person. He's alive. His entire family was put behind bars in just one night, and he himself was locked up in that place for 6 years. If there was a better place for him to be, I naturally would have told him and helped him get there. I'm not trying to keep him around to use as a bargaining chip in the future. That's what I think is the right thing to do. Looks like we aren't going to come to an understanding. I'm afraid not. If you don't need anything else from us, We'll take our leave now. You don't really think I'll just let you walk out of here after I told you all that, right? Researcher silence? I don't. That's why I made an arrangement with food on hand. Oh? Anthony? Right here. I thought you already left Colombia. The two who left, the one who left was a decoy. The real Anthony has been staying with us at the hotel, and I asked him to come after earlier just in case. It was our Rhode Island escort's idea. I didn't expect to see this arrangement come in handy here, though. You want Anthony, don't you? This is your only chance to get your hands on him, Director Mulesys. Care for a drink, Mr. Anthony? If the circumstances were different, I would gladly share a drink with you, Miss Mulesys. That's a shame, then. Let's get down to business. Well, Mr. Anthony, would you be willing to come with me? Only if you're able to defeat me, ma'am. I eavesdropped on your conversation, and I must say that I don't really dislike the way you think. I do think that there are certain things that aren't quite as colorful as they may seem. But after all that I've been through, I also think that there are things out there that are truly beautiful. Well, looks like I'm being treated as the villain here. No, I told you before, Director Mulesys. I don't think you're a villain. From where you stand, what you've done couldn't be more correct, and I also think you've extended to me plenty of goodwill gesture. It's just, I'm sorry to say, I can't bring myself to agree with the way you think. That's all. It kind of feels like I made myself a new enemy without knowing. You mentioned keeping energy in check. Did something happen inside Rhine Lab? If you aren't going to make this deal with me, then I really can't tell you about any of that. Of course, if you don't plan on calling it quits here, I'm sure you'll find out one day. Anyway, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm not really that confident I can fight a buff dude like Anthony with just a clone. Huh? A clone? That's right, this is just a clone. Looks real, doesn't it? Let me leave you with an advice, Researcher Silence. You may think that helping Anthony is the right thing to do, but that could be further from the truth. It's laughable to think that the Simon Co. was merely a victim in the fight with Hydebro. Both of them fought that battle because they were bent on bringing the other side down. It's just old Smith wasn't playing the game as well as his opponent was. In other words, if Smith had managed to make his move before Hydebro did, it would be the Hydes that's hunking down in Bunker Hill now, instead of his family. From that point of view, is Anthony really just a victim? But what do you think? What do you think, Anthony? I can't deny that. But there are no ifs in this world. I know that. Researcher Silence, I am telling you all this because I want you to understand this. If you want to do the right thing, you need to first be able to tell what actually is the right thing. Beyond that, you also need to understand that doing the right thing doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to pay the price. Thanks for the advice. Well, see ya. Oh, she turned into a puddle. Oh, right. I'm really throwing in the towel with Anthony. Rest assured, you won't find me doing anything uncalled for. You can talk through the puddle too. I might even help you guys cover this up. Better thank me. As long as I'm not your villain, let's have another chat in the next time we get the chance. Mr. Anthony, I hope you'll have a wonderful time at Rhode Island. I appreciate that, miss. Well then, Miss Silence, it's actually time to set out now, isn't it? Yeah. Meyer, could you help me up? Hmm? What's wrong? My legs are a little sore. Oh, okay. Oof. I should have expected as much from a section director. I was so nervous just now, I almost couldn't say anything. The way I see it, you did really well, Miss Silence. Yeah, I think so too. You were really cool. Thank you. I'm curious, what kind of place is Rhode Island? It's a long way to Rhode Island from here. I'll explain everything you want to know along the way. I see. Very well then. I'm looking forward to this journey already. And there we go. That was the entire story of the jailbreak, of Rhinelab doing shady shit, of Ulysses being very cheery and very scary. Cannot wait for that battle one day in some side story. And a lot of other stuff. Well then, as always, this has been a pleasure doing a narration again, outside of just the live streams, and I'll probably do more in the future, so keep a lookout for an update video for future stuff. But anyway, this has been Jacob, this has been the narration for the Mansfield Break side story event in Arknights, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.